I'm your host, G. Wright. This month's show will feature two members of the National Association of Black Military Women, Beverly Bailey and Donna Kirkwood. These military women veterans are here to discuss their military service, the history of the organization, the importance of her story, and the 23rd Biennial Convention coming up right here in downtown Chicago, the third week in September. Here in the studio, I'm with Beverly Bailey.
Thank you.
She has attended every convention since the organization formed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Beverly is a United States Navy veteran that started her career even before joining the Navy. She participated in the Junior Recruits Officers Program, where she excelled in academics and received a certificate for outstanding women's achievement. Welcome, U.S. Navy vet Beverly Bailey.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right into it. Can you tell us about your military service, why you joined the National Association for Black Military Women, and how important is this convention to her story, our story?
It's well, I started out as a Girl Scout when I was a little girl, and then when I went into high school, I went into junior ROTC, and I always was fascinated with a uniform, and I always wanted to serve my country. When I got out of the service, I wanted to join a organization that had Black people that served the military in it. So I had got with a friend of mine, and she belonged to the NABMW, and I asked her about it, and she introduced me to the organization, and I was fascinated with what I saw. I saw officers, Black officers, and all type of military people, and I enjoyed it. And every year, every other year, we get together and we have seminars and we go on trips and we just have a good time with each other.
So would you say it's the camaraderie that being with the enlisted, the officers, all collaborating on one level, on one event?
Yes,
Okay. Is what brings you back time and time again? What brings you back every 2 years to this convention?
because of different things that they offer the people, and getting a getting some travel in because I love to travel. So I enjoy traveling and going to different places and representing the NABMW and just being with fellow veterans.
Okay. Can you tell us some of the cities that you've been in?
I've been to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. I've been to Savannah, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona,
Okay.
um, just to name a few. And let me see what else have I been to.
Which one would you say is your favorite? And can you give us some examples of what goes on at these conventions? I know seminars, but give us an example of some of the seminars that you've taken.
Okay, the best invention, the convention that I really liked was the one down in Savannah, Georgia, because it had a lot of Black history,
Oh, okay.
and we have different classes and things concerning the veterans.
Okay. Like
And
veteran benefits,
yes,
service
yes,
connection,
yes,
getting military stuff, your military service character upgraded, things like that.
yes,
Okay.
and also people that have wrote books that was in the military.
Okay.
They come and present their books to us and sign the books for us. Two people came, one person in particular that I read about before I met her, and that's Adams Ender, Clara Adams Ender. She came to our last convention at San Antonio, and she spoke to the audience and told us different things about her military experience. And she had brought her books, and we bought books from her, and she signed them.
Okay. So can I ask you a little bit more about your military service? What was your job, or in the Navy we say rating, right? We call it rating.
Yes, I was a communication specialist, radioman.
Okay. So I can relate. I was a CT, a cryptologist technician. So um how did that influence your decision to what did you do when you get out? What did you do with your military experience when you got out?
When I got out, I started working in an office for Veterans Administration. I did secretarial work and Xeroxing and just office work.
Okay, that sounds good. You know that's one thing that the military does for women veterans is give us skill sets that we maybe otherwise would not have received. The other thing I would like to ask you is, um, I understand that you are creative and you have written something about her story, something about your story. Would you like to present that at the end of our show today?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that will be great. I want to thank Beverly for your service, first of all.
Thank
We
you.
really want to thank you for your service. We want to thank you for your continued support of the National Association of Black Military Women. And, we appreciate you. What you do is giving your service to your country is not an easy thing. I would like to introduce our second guest who is joining us on live stream, U.S. Army veteran and a member of the National Association of Black Military Women, Miss Donna Kirkwood.
Hello.
Hello, Donna.
Hi.
She is an Iraq war vet that served over 20 years in the military as a cook. She served with distinguished honors and received many awards, not just for cooking. She served and prepared meals for senior military leaders and their guests. Welcome, U.S. Army vet Donna Kirkwood.
Hi.
Can you tell us about your military service and why you joined the NABW, National Association of Black Military Women, and how important this upcoming convention is to her story and to the movement of, giving back, women veterans giving back to their community?
Okay. Like your first guest, I when I was younger, I was a Girl Scout as well. But I don't know if that inspired me or just a part of the something I liked to do when I was younger. However, what inspired me to come into the military, into the army, was a commercial. Back in the day, they had the commercial "Be All You Could Be."
Yes.
And I was like, well, I'm not gonna go to college right now. I want to be all I can be. I want to get the food. I want to travel. I want to get a career and the benefits. I guess I'm going into the army. So I went into the army, and I believe that's probably one of my best decisions I could have made. And I didn't know I was going to stay in this long, but I stayed in 29 years
Ooh.
after that. So that was my journey. And then I started out in food service. I was a cook when I first went in. And from there, I went from administration to 79 Victor, which is retention. But my main goal and the main skill set was food service 92 golf. And that's where I spend most of my time and throughout my civilian life as well. Um, it also, I guess, it was very beneficial to the fact that it allowed me to work for the commanding general in Iraq when I was deployed. So food
Oh.
service took me more places than the other MOSs that I had, you know. So
Well, obviously you were very good at it because they don't let anybody cook for 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 those senior military leaders. So, um, would you say your skills in the military were transferable to the civilian life after 29 years?
absolutely. I actually got out and got a bachelor's in food system management with the University of Memphis. However, food service has taken me to these positions. I work with the Federal Bureau of Prison, where I supervise the inmates in the food service department. I supervise female at the women's jail. I've been a nutrition service manager for the school system. That's that, yeah. The food service took me a long way.
It is so honored to meet someone of your level and the persistence that you have shown in your service. What led you to the National Association of Black Military Women?
Well, my friend, my friend named Latia. She's a warrant officer. I believe she's a retired warrant officer. Latia Sutton. She was telling me about this organization, and she's a good salesperson. So she told me a little bit about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna join. I joined right away because I know she's a diligent person. I told her she should be president one day. So I joined in, and I really like it because it allowed me to be among other women. Doesn't matter the branch, but other women that has similar experience, or just just being with someone that has done the same thing as you have. Military it doesn't mean the job skill, but just the branches to serve your country. I think that's what I really like and enjoy about this particular organization. When I found out the history about it and how they started in the women's, Miss Carter, Miss Brown, how they came together and they came up there, they call it the black whack, back then. And I said they had to do that because obviously they wasn't being acknowledged by the other organization. And sometimes we tend as black women tend to get pushed aside. And that's sort of like, hey, we are important as well. So that's what I liked about it. And then I can't wait to go to this here first convention in Chicago. But I would have went to San Antonio, but due to some illness in my family, I wasn't able to go at that particular time. But I'm very excited this time.
Thank you. That was amazing. Let me ask you some additional questions. Um, as a person who served 29 years in the military, what advice can you give to another young lady who is thinking about going into the military? She's unsure, but she's thinking about it. What advice would you give to her?
I think a lot of young folks focus on what they think they heard. I think the experience when you go in is not as where you got a bunch of people yelling at you. I think that's their main concern. That somebody yelling at them and they got to do all these. Well, that's just a part of gearing you to what you're gonna. Because people forget you serving your country. So your job is going to be very important to your country. And you go in there, I believe that they have all the benefits. Yeah, they push that out there, but I believe it's something you really want to do. If you don't want to do it, you probably won't succeed. It has to be something you want to do. I think you should give it a try. And basically, when you give it a try, you find out you like it more than you expected. I would tell them to stay focused, to be diligent, work hard in that career when they get it. Be the best, like the commercial said. Be all you can be. Because soon as you get ranks, you can be something else. It takes you higher and higher. You don't have to stay low. You could go higher and higher. It's a lot of opportunities in the military.
Oh, so there you have it. There you have it. Thank you, Miss Donna Kirkwood. We really appreciate your service. I want to personally say thank you for your service. I'm also a U.S. Navy vet, but your experience is amazing. Your experience, Miss Bailey, is wonderful. We're excited to promote the National Association of Black Military Women and what they do. Um, if you want to know more about the National Association of Black Military Women, you can go to their website at www.nabmw.org. Or you can simply join the organization at the 23rd Biennial Convention being held in Chicago, September the 18th through the 22nd. I wanted to squeeze that in because I have a couple more questions for Miss Bailey before we get to your poem. What advice would you give? Like I asked Miss Kirkwood, what advice would you give to a young girl who is currently considering going into the military? She's unsure, she's not swayed either right or left. What advice could you give her to sway her toward maybe a successful career in the military?
Well, she has to be dedicated. It has to be something that she really wants.
Right.
Because if she doesn't want it, it's not going to work for her.
Okay, that's good advice. That's good advice. So we're going to sort of close this show with her story, your poem that you wrote. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this poem, and when was the poem originally written?
What inspired me was the things that the people that joined the black people that joined the military had went through, the hardships, the prejudiceness, the discrimination is what purged me to write this poem.
Okay. Were you in the military when you wrote this poem?
No, I was a veteran.
You was a veteran. When
Yes,
you
I
wrote
was a veteran. It has been written about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, I was a veteran then.
Okay. So, go ahead.
To Tell Her Story by Beverly Bailey. To tell her story is to tell the armed forces story. To tell her story is to tell an OC or combat story. To tell her story is to tell the whole story. To tell her story is to tell the hidden story. To tell her story is to be part of Black history. To tell her story is for all the Black women, both military and non-military, to learn and appreciate the hardships their foremothers, sisters, cousins endured in the military to keep America safe.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep. Her story is our story.
Yes.
Yes. I also too wrote a poem. It's not that when I wrote it, it wasn't that significant. I was still actually in the military. And after I got out, one day it just popped in my head, you know, thank you for telling me my dreams were too much. Thank you for telling me I wouldn't make it through. I dedicate my success to you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I really, when I first read your poem, when I was going over your bio, when I first read that poem, it really struck a chord with me because you cannot talk about military history and not talk about a time where women, Black women,
Yes.
and white women were not a part of it. We've been trying to be carved out of it. And I think what attracts a lot of military veteran women to this organization is it gives us an opportunity to be heard.
Yes.
It gives us an opportunity to collaborate and camaraderie on a neutral ground.
Yes.
In the military, we have our, enlisted, we have our, fraternization levels. But with this organization, you can participate as much as you want or as least as you want.
Yes.
And we all come together for a common cause.
Yes.
So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Ms. Kirkwood. Do you have any final thoughts, Ms. Kirkwood?
Well, the only thing I would like to say is thank you for allowing me to be on your platform tonight. And it's a pleasure to actually be able to speak to veterans and non-veteran women, that maybe the younger women who's thinking about going into the military will reconsider if they had doubts. And also the ones that are in there, I can't wait to see them when we get to Chicago in September. So I'm looking forward to everything to be with my sisters in arms.
Thank you. Any last words, Miss Bailey?
Yes. My last words is to the young people. Make a decision to be something in life. Have purpose. Have a goal in life. That's the only way you can live a good life.
Very, very profound words. So again, there you have it. We have two outstanding members of the National Association of Black Military Women in the studio today, Miss Beverly Bailey, Miss Donna Kirkwood. Um, I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank our show producers, American Heroes Group, our segment producers, Daphne D. Wright and Latia Sutto. We're going to see you next month on Stage Black. Always been there, not going anywhere.